with love from the heavens, a sharing through the gifts of mediumship, collective consciousness, known as source energy, known as eternal light beings, flowing through the speaker, if you will. So here we are, wanting, desiring to create segments for ones to understand life just a little bit more. Now, how would collective consciousness, source energy, eternal light beings know life? And the answer lies within. The answer is the knowing of the divine connection. The answer is knowing that collective consciousness and source energy is, therefore, knows life, knows eternal light. So as you walk upon Mother Earth in all your glory, step by step, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, you truly discover what it is your desires are, your dreams, your wishes. What are your likes, your dislikes? What are your challenges? And what is of ease to you? And so many feel that life is deeply challenged with challenges, is deeply burdened with burdens. And it is understood. It is understood. And so we are wanting, our desire is to create peace on the planet. Is that possible? And the answer is a resounding yes. But it must start with one having peace in one's heart, peace in one's mind, peace in one's body, peace in one's soul, as one walks upon Mother Earth. So here you are arriving upon Mother Earth in all your divine perfection and glory. And then what? Life. The ups and downs, the highs, the lows. The conditioning, the doctrines, the teachings. And then you become sculpted in your environment. And isn't it fascinating that two individuals, two people, can have the same environment and see the world through very different perspectives, receive what is offered or given in very different views? Isn't that fascinating? And this is where emotions, your emotions, play such a big part. And big, that's a small word. Emotions create life and the journey because emotions hold vibration. And you are energy, vibration. Your personal energy is vibration. Your emotions are vibration. So the emotion of peace would be a vibration that would resonate throughout the world. And we're not kidding. When you are feeling anger, perhaps being resentful, perhaps just feeling discouraged and disheartened, tired, that is a vibration that moves forth, allowing space to be felt. Now, we have shared in previous segments that if you can think of your emotions starting from within and extending outwards, which is exactly the way it is. But if you could really see it, you can feel your emotions, but if you could see it, so let us say you can put a color to this energy. So you are feeling very happy, very vibrant, vivacious, and passionate. So let us put the color yellow to that. And so you can visualize yellow, the hue of yellow, a light of yellow, if you will, moving forth from within you, extending, moving outwards into the environment. Now, let us take anger, rage, frustration, feeling resentful, fill it in. Let us put the color red. So you can see in your imagination the color red emanating from you, extending outwards into your environment. Now we share with you. Now, take a step. What are you walking into? And isn't it fascinating that you are walking into your own vibration, your own color? Now we choose the contrast of life, the happiness, and we'll say anger. And we choose anger because anger is truly easy to achieve, if you will. You can see by this visualization that you walk into how you are feeling until the emotion is changed. So how does an emotion get changed? And we have also shared in many segments that you cannot hold the contrast. Think of holding joy in one hand and anger in the other hand. You cannot feel joy and anger at the very same moment. Impossible. So to feel one or the other, one has to be placed down. So one has exchanged, if you will, the happiness to pick up anger. Or they have placed down anger to pick up happiness. So when you see it as a vibration in the choice of picking up or letting go of something, you can then understand that emotions, as much as they feel out of your control, they are very much in your control because you make the choice to hold it. Now, we understand this is challenging because ones will say, no. I have every right in the world to be angry. Do you know what happened? Do you know what he or she or they have done and caused? I have every right to feel rage. I have every right to get them back. I have every right to feel the way I feel. And it is truth. It is valid and it is understood because all emotions are meant to be felt. But what we were sharing before was, isn't it fascinating that two people can have the same experience and one saying, oh, I have every right to feel anger and angry and frustrated. I have every right to lose my temper. And the other, in the same situation, delivered exactly the same information, will say, well, all right, okay. And it truly doesn't even fizz them. They don't have an emotion with it. And they may feel relieved about the same information. So isn't it fascinating that ones truly choose their own emotions. But it doesn't feel like that. How could it? It is so natural to feel happy when something has presented itself to feel happy. And it is so natural to feel frustration and joy and hurt and sorrow and anguish when something has presented itself to feel these emotions. It gets tricky, if you will, when ones hang on to the emotions opposite to joy and peace, love and contentment, ease and laughter, let us say. Because it truly, as much as your experience upon Mother Earth is to feel and experience and to create, it feels so natural to hold on to. But deep within your inner essence of all, the connection to divine, for you are part and piece of the whole, it does not resonate with the mind, body, heart, and soul for any length of time. And isn't that fascinating? It is difficult for some, not all, but for most, to place down anger when it feels so warranted. And it is very difficult to place down hurt when truly you are hurting, deeply hurting. So the emotions have to play, we want to say play out. It would be very difficult to have something devastating in the perception of, for what is devastating to one is not devastating to another. And there are different levels of it. Would that not hold true? One can be devastated because they lost their watch. And the same depths of devastation can be felt of fill it in, which would seem extreme to the one that lost their watch. So there are different levels to emotions, and it also holds true that ones get to choose the levels of. How angry do you wish to become? If you keep your thought process up and you go over it in your mind, replay it time and time and time again, you can turn anger into rage very quickly. You can also turn happiness, mild happiness, slight happiness, into euphoric joy in the same process of thought alone. Ones tend to carry hurt a long time. Perhaps something that happened in the playground still is echoed through one's mind or thought about so often. And as soon as it is thought about, as soon as it is talked about, as soon as the memory comes up or the reminiscing comes up, the hurt can feel as though it is intense as the day that it happened. So it is understood how a thought can bring one to the emotion. And if thoughts continue throughout the day, throughout the weeks, months, years, and decades, it is very difficult to find a place to place it down, to choose peace and contentment, because it becomes a part of you. The hurt becomes a part of you, and it is understood. but we are sharing. How long do you wish to feel about any one thing? And doesn't it hold true that you can feel the depths of despair about something, and a few years down the road, the same something, you look back and all you feel is gratitude for the experience or for the loss? Fill it in. Look back and say, at the time I was devastated. At the time I thought my world was ending. And I look back and it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Because look at where I stand now. How often does that happen? How often? And it happens many times. Now, how often does one make a decision about something and the outcome not as joyous as one predicted or thought, expected? And they look back and say, I shouldn't have. I should never have, fill in the blank. Look at my life now. I should never have made that decision. That was the poorest decision I could have ever made. And then a little time goes on, and they find relief in it. They find the seed of grace in it. It is fascinating how emotions take you throughout your day. You can wake up feeling so good, place your feet on the floor and eager to start the new day. And it doesn't take long for something to come along and disrupt it. You hear something, someone tells you something. The car won't start, fill it in. Something happens that takes that peace away from you that you were once experiencing only a short time previous. And then you go throughout your day and you get the car started, let us say, and someone else comes along with a cheerful, wonderful story. And the day feels a little lighter once again. And then you move along and you pick up the newspaper and you feel it in your heart. You don't feel too good. Move along and you see someone that you haven't seen for a long time, who you are truly fond of. And then your emotions feel good, happy, joyous. So it can move along, changing very quickly throughout the day, just by living everyday experience. Just by living. So here you are, wanting to create your desires, dreams, and wishes. You are wanting to live your life to the fullest. You are wanting to bring forth the best of who you are. And life contrast seems to mess it up at times, does it not, if you will? Everything was going so good. Everything was going so good. And then, bam, I was blindsided. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know my relationship was going to end. I truly did not know. I did not see it coming. I truly didn't know that my job would not be here tomorrow. I didn't know they were going to close the doors. And fill it in, on and on and on. And yet those experiences can open a space to find more enlightenment, more joy, more peace, and more contentment. But at the time, one must experience the emotions one is choosing to experience. Isn't that fascinating? So we can take marriage to divorce. Oh, the happiness about the marriage and the devastation about divorce. And yet, isn't it true for some that there was no devastation upon the divorce? It was only happiness and relief to be felt. Isn't it something that ones can go to work and they find out it's closing? The place of work is closing. Now, to some, devastation. To another, absolutely in the depths or in the feeling of relief, because they weren't joyous working in that environment. Same experience, different feelings about it. We understand that there are many circumstances that go around the topics that we just chose, meaning if the marriage ended and one was not prepared, didn't see it coming, thought it was for life, it would feel devastating. And if one is truly needing their job for financial support, it would be devastating. So it would never feel like a choice to have these emotions. And it would be very natural to feel these emotions. And for the one that finds relief, contentment, and happiness through the divorce, well, it does not mean that that one down the road will not have a regret. And the one that lost their job down the road find a job that gives them even a greater financial reward. So life is life. And what we are sharing is not new to anyone. And ones will say, what's the importance of all this? Why? Why is this sharing? And the sharing is to understand how emotions create your world and how your world creates your emotions. Isn't that fascinating? And some truly disregard emotions. They don't take a lot of time to think about it because it feels so natural. If something is happy, it's happy. If something is sad and sorrowful, it is sad and sorrowful. When you are creating your dreams, wishes, and desires, and you think about the energy that you are putting forth, and you are feeling anger and resentment, disappointment and frustration, disheartenment, fill it in, anything in the contrast opposite to joy. And you're walking your pathway, walking into the vibration of how you are feeling. It would be understood that if you are feeling angry or disappointed, disheartened, it would be difficult to create from the place of passion. It would be difficult to create from the place of inspiration. It would be difficult too, and that would be understood. So how would one bring forth inspiration to create something that they desire and feel the opposite of? Their energy is lacking in their body, their mind, their heart feels broken, and yet they want to live a full life. They want to experience life in its fullness, or at least in its happiness. So ones go in search for happiness. They are in search for happiness. Most do not search for sadness and sorrow and anger and rage and fill it in. Happiness feels so fleeting. Why does it feel that happiness is placed down far easier than anger? Why does that not even feel like a choice when both are emotions? Ones feel they have to seek happiness. Oh, I will be happy when. I will be happy when I graduate school. I will be happy when I find my life partner. I will be happy when I find the dream of my job of my dreams, my career. I will be happy when I find my spouse. I will be happy when I have children. I will be happy when I have grandchildren. I will be happy when we get to move to the location I desire. I will be happy when, and fill it in. Now, others may have obviously a different look at that. I will be happy when I fill it in. Some do not want family or marriage, and that is fine. But there's a tendency to feel that something has to happen before happiness arrives. And you have heard it time and time and time again. Happiness is within. It's not a search beyond yourself. It's a search within yourself. But it is very difficult to feel happiness from within when it is being covered by the emotions that do not create happiness. So it is very powerful to understand that you carry at all times happiness, joy, peace, contentment. It is part of your inner essence, the connection to. We ask the question, where were you before arriving upon Mother Earth? Where will you be after departing Mother Earth? Most would feel that the transition is from physical form to divine eternal light, where all is at peace, all is comfort, all is forgiven, all is eternal light. And in this light, there is no space for any emotion other than the deepest, grandest feeling of love. Would there be a quarrel in the heavens? Most would think that would be absurd. So, if you arrive to Mother Earth in your divine eternal light in all your glory, and your authentic self is held within your inner essence, that is who you are before any life experience, before any emotion to be felt. And that is who you are while you are experiencing your physical body upon Mother Earth, and while you are experiencing every emotion that you have arrived to feel. You are divine eternal light, held within physical form. So happiness is, you hold the grandest, greatest expansion of light that could ever be. For that is who you truly are. So when you make the decision to see your inner light, your inner essence radiating forth, let us put a color to it. Most would pick white. Does not have to be. Beautiful, divine, white light. And you place your authentic self, your eternal light before you in the choice of, what do you walk into? What are your next steps? But ones will say, well, that's not even realistic. How can that be realistic? I'm mad. I'm fill in the blank. But what if you understood that when you place love in the forefront and walk, taking a step, then a step, and a step into what you are putting forth in your personal vibration. Now, it doesn't mean that you will not feel anger. And it will not mean that you will not have the desire to fulfill your dreams, wishes, and desires, because the irony here is you're wanting to fulfill them to bring the happiness that you are looking for, but all the while, happiness is who you are. So it's an expansion of who you already are. Your dreams, wishes, and desires are only an expansion of you, divine light. Ponder. Knowing that you are eternal light in the emotions of life allows you to understand, deeply understand, that when you are living from the space of your divine eternal light with love leading the way every time, you are always walking into the vibration of love. So we will conclude this segment. We are eager to share. We are eager to share. For we know that peace on the planet is possible. And we know that peace within yourself is who you are. Really good. Really, really good. There is great love for you.